Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Minecraft and Maya. My name is Casanis. In today's episode we're going to be taking a look at helmets and in fact headgear in general. A lot of you have been asking about this, so we're going to take a step back. We were going to actually move on to lip sync animation, but we're going to take a step back and take a look at how to model headgear. A lot of you guys are saying, I haven't finished my model yet, I'm not ready to move on to animation. And that is cool. So what we're going to do is, like I said, take a step back. I'll be building in this episode a simple iron helmet, and you guys can extrapolate what the techniques that I used here to build yourself hats or earphones or goggles or glasses or whatever you want. Okay, so to start off with, we're going to go to Window, we're going to go to Rendering Editors, and we're going to say Hyper Shader. All we're doing here is building our texture. I'm going to build myself a Lambert, bam, just like that, and I'm going to rename my Lambert to helmet texture. In fact, I'm going to call it helmet texture because by changing out the file here, I'll be able to make an iron helmet or a diamond helmet or a gold helmet or a leather helmet or whatever. So I'm just going to call it helmet texture, and the next thing I'm going to do is go into color right here and check on the little box, bam, and say file. I'm going to populate this image name with my JPEG. A lot of you guys are asking, do I have to use PNG? Do I have to use JPEG? Yeah, use it, okay? If I'm telling you to use it, it's because it's going to cause you problems later on. You're going to ask me about it later on. So in this situation, I want you to use a JPEG, okay? So I basically took the Minecraft right here, Iron 1, Iron 2. I took the Minecraft textures, I saved them out as JPEGs, and I renamed it. So this is my iron armor right here. Open. The last thing I'm going to do to make sure that this is working properly later on as far as rendering is concerned, I'm going to change this filter type to off, just like that. Okay, this texture is now ready, so now let's move on to modeling. The modeling is pretty simple. I'm in polygons right now, I'm going to go to create, polygon primitive, and I'm going to say cube, I'm going to go to the little square. Now, I've already counted the number of pixels that are used in the texture itself. There are 8 pixels wide, 8 pixels deep, and at the skinniest it is 3 pixels tall. Now, 8 by 8 is the same size as the character's head, so this is going to cause us a little bit of problems later on. We're going to have to scale everything up a little tiny bit, but that is okay. We're just going to model like this for now. So I'm going to change to those values, and I'm going to say create, bang. And it, of course, is going to create for me my cube, just like that. Let's go to shading, and we're going to say smooth shade all. Now, there's a couple things I want to do to this cube. I'm going to add a little bit of information to it, and I could have done this earlier, and I don't know why I didn't. With the cube selected, I changed my depth, my things there, but let's go to here. I'm in the channel layer box, or the channel box, sorry. I'm going to go to polycube 1, and I'm going to add some subdivisions. I'm going to add 3 subdivisions in the width and the depth, just like that. Yeah, that should be fine for now. So 3, just like this. So I'm going to end up with a checker pattern like that. And what I want to do, I'm going to go to panels. Let's go to our front view, orthographic front. And I'm going to hold down the right mouse button, and I'm going to say edge, and I'm going to double click, and I'm going to double click. And that's going to select all the way around. Now I'm going to actually just move these apart a little bit, just like that. And this is just going to allow me to add some thickness to my helmet. I'm going to do it, I'm going to add about a half. See how it's about halfway, just like that. Perfect. And then I'm going to go to panels, and I'm going to go to orthographic, and I'm going to go to side, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Holding down my right mouse button, edge, double click, and double click, with holding down my shift, double clicking on both. And I'm going to extend it, whoop, just like this, to about a half, like that. Perfect. Now let's take a look at it in this mode. Okay, so that's exactly what I want to see. Perfect. There's a little bit more information I'm going to add. I'm looking at the texture, and I can see that there's a nose piece. So let's go back to panels, front view. Where's my panels? Panels. What am I doing? Orthographic, front view. Bang. And I'm going to add some additional mesh. So I'm going to say edit mesh. I'm going to go to insert edge loop, and I'm going to add it's a 2 wide nose piece. So I'm going to add a edge loop here. It's 2 pixels wide, and right there, just like that. I can also see that there is an earpiece, which is about 4 pixels along the side. So I'm going to go panels, orthographic, side, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here, right in the middle. I don't know why I counted that when I knew this was 8 wide. I'm going to add it just like that. And that's going to allow for the earpiece. And lastly, looking at the texture, You know what? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, looking at the texture now, I'm going to go again to the front. Panels, orthographic, front. I don't know why I didn't count all this before. I don't know why I'm counting it now while I'm actually recording. I'm going to just add additional one right here because there's a little piece in the back that kind of sticks out. Bang and bang. Just like that. Now building the helmet is this easy. Once all the mesh is there, I'm going to use my extrude tool. So I'm going to go into this mode. I'm into this right here. This is my front and this is my side. I know that I'm going to select the nose piece. So I'm going to hold down my right mouse button. I'm going to say face. And I'm going to select the nose piece, that piece. I'm going to select all along my edges and all around the back, just like this. Bang, 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 bang. Oops, bang, bang. And I'm going to say, if everything is good, yep, I'm going to say Edit, Mesh. And I'm going to use Extrude. Make sure Keep Faces is clicked on. Extrude. And when I do, I can actually pull this down. Let's go into Panels, Orthographic, Side View, so I can see how long. Now, I know I can see that it is the first batch, so the first part of the side helmet is actually 1 pixel down, so I'm going to extend it like that. Perfect. Okay, let's reselect now. I know I'm going to use the nose piece again, and I'm going to use all the way from here back. And all I'm doing to determine what I'm using, what I'm extending, is I'm looking at the actual texture. So just like that, and I'm going to say, again in my side view, Panels, Orthographic, Side, I'm going to say Extrude, Edit Mesh, Extrude, and I'm going to extend it down 1 more pixel. Yep, just like that. Bang. And the last thing I'm going to do is, that's good. The last thing I'm going to do is there's 2 more things actually. I'm going to go into the back, and the back itself is actually extended as well. So I'm going to extend, let's extend from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, just across like this. And this whole thing gets extended 1 more. Panels, again, orthographic, side, and I'm going to use the Edit Mesh Extrude tool and do it 1 more. Whoop, just like that. And lastly, there's one last little neck piece. It is just 1, 2, 3. And all I did to choose this is actually look at the helmet itself, look at the texture itself, and Panels, Orthographic, Side, Edit Mesh, Extrude, and 1 more down. And that is our entire helmet. Except for one last thing. So that's what the helmet's going to look like. I think that's what it looks like in the... I think that's what it looks like according to the texture itself. I'm not really sure. And I'm not actually looking at Minecraft, but this is what I think it looks like. So what I'm going to do lastly is I'm going to add a little bit of space right in here for our dude's head to fit in. Again, I'm selecting all the faces on the inside. Bang, bang, bang. And I'm going to say Edit Mesh, and I'm going to say Extrude, and I'm going to drag it up. Let's go into the Panels, Orthographic, Side, and I'm going to drag it up. I'll drag it up a little past and then pull it down. Bang. Okay, that is our helmet. Right there. That's how the helmet's going to look. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look. You guys already know how to texture. We're going to texture this now. So I'm going to do one side for you, and then afterwards you guys are going to do the rest on your own. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab, I'm going to take my face. Oh, and I've already created my texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go Object Mode. Bang. I'm going to open up my Window, Rendering Editors, Hypershader again, and I'm going to assign by holding down the right mouse button and saying Assign to Texture. Bang, just like that. We didn't see anything change, no problem. Shading, hardware texturing, bang, and it's a little bit blurry, so shading, hardware texturing, go to here, make sure that it's unfiltered, and say set, bang. Okay, not blurry, perfect. Now we have to actually set this whole thing up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do one face for you, and then you guys can do the rest. I'm going to select all the front, okay? I'm going to say faces, and I'm going to go bang, 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 bang. Anything I think that is the front face, so all this I think is the front face. That whole thing, I think, is the front face. Perfect. So now I'm going to say, create UVs. I'm going to go to planar mapping, and this is going to be from the X direction. Sorry, from the Z direction. I'm going to say project. And then I'm going to say, open up my window, UV texture editor. It's going to bring up this new window, just like that. Uh-oh, it's blurry. What do? We go image, display unfiltered. Bam, it's not blurry anymore, so make sure you guys do that. And I'm going to just drag these things down so they're going to fit right on here. Right on the front face. That's all I'm going to do. You guys know how to do this. We've done this a gabillion times now, so I'm going to do this really fast, and then I'm going to let you guys jump on it as an exercise. Do all the rest. Just like that. Okay, perfect. Let's go take a look at it on the actual thing. Bang, there's my front face. Okay, so you guys know how to do that. I'm going to let you guys do the rest, and I'll be right back when mine's all done. Okay, everyone, we are back, and the texturing on my end is complete. There it is, all the way around. I didn't do the top. You probably want to texture. I'm just going to leave it white. You know, I really don't care what it looks like in there, because more than likely you're not going to see it that often. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do to complete this modeling of the helmet is I'm going to select the helmet itself. And if you're conscientious about this, you'd actually go around, you'd select all of the edges all the way around the helmet, not the interior edges, but all the ones all the way around, and you'd bevel it. And you know what? And I am too lazy to do that, so I'm just going to hope for the best. Let's see what happens if I say edit mesh and I say bevel. Boom. That looks fine. I'm perfectly happy with that. Okay, so that is my helmet right there. Now, I'm going to actually do one last thing. I don't normally do this, but if you want to, you can say normals, and if this is still a little bit too squarish for you, I'm going to leave mine squarish for this, but you can actually select it and say normals, and you can say soften, and it'll actually give it a little bit more of a smooth edge. That doesn't look too bad. That doesn't look too bad, actually, so I might just leave it just like that. Okay, so that is my helmet. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is, as I mentioned before, I know that the head I made on my character is 8 by 8. So this is actually going to be a little bit too small, and I don't want that. So we're going to bring in a character, we're going to measure it against the head, and we're going to then set up our controls afterwards. Okay, so let me show you how to bring a character into a scene. There's a lot of different ways of doing that. You can either open a scene with the character already in it and bring the helmet in, or you can import the character into your scene, which will bring the entire mesh into it and all the controls and everything, let you manipulate everything, or you can do what's called a reference, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to say File, under whatever menu, File, and I'm going to go to the Create Reference, and then I'm going to find in here my character. Mine is called Steve Production Lock. I'm going to double click, and it's going to bring that character in, just like that. Okay, and now, because this is a reference, if I ever make changes to this and I add something more, I add more blend shapes or whatever, anywhere where I have a reference, everything's going to automatically be updated, and that is kind of cool. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drag this helmet up on top of his head, and you can see it is exactly the same size as the head, and that is rather stinky. I don't like that. I actually want it to be larger, obviously, so I'm just going to take my helmet and I'm going to scale it up to, let's make it to 1.1. 1.1, that looks pretty good. 1.1 is the number I'm using. You guys choose a number you want. There's my helmet. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of controls. Now, we always add these controls exactly the same way, right? We're going to, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually translate this back down to 0 for now, just down there like that. And I'm going to move Steve the heck out of the way so I can finish this up. Where's my, oh, right there. I'm completely blind. Let's get Steve out of the way. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually create NURBS primitive, circle, bang, right there at 0, 0. Let's make it a little bigger. I'm going to make it into, let's make this to 4. Is that big enough? No. Let's try 6. Perfect. 6 is perfect. So I'm going to use that in here. I'm going to rename this to CNT underscore helmet. And you know what? I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to make it into a God node as well. So I can actually, like, do I need to? You know what? It doesn't hurt anything. So I'm going to make one more control. I'm going to say edit, duplicate, bam. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to make this thing here, just make it 7 for now so I can actually see it. Just like that. And I'm going to call this helmet God underscore God node. So that is going to be my main control right there for the helmet. Perfect. And this is my secondary control for my helmet, just my control helmet. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to group everything together. So to remember to do so, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy here. I'm going to say modify, freeze transformations. Bang. Boom. This guy, modify, freeze transformations. Boom. I'm going to select the helmet itself. Everything is the way I like it. I'm going to freeze transformations, modify, freeze my transformations on that. And the last thing I'm going to do, you see all this extra garbage in the inputs right here? I'm going to assume my helmet's good enough. I'm not going to make any more changes. There's a lot of polys in here. You know, you wouldn't do this if you were making a game. There's a lot of extra bullshitty polys, but for this, it's perfectly fine. Anyway, we're going to select the actual thing. We're going to say edit. We're going to say delete by type, and we're going to say history, and you can see it cleared out all that extra crap. So now we just have a nice, clean helmet. Let's build our hierarchy really fast. So window, outliner, bang. It's going to bring up a new window, just like this. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to... I didn't rename this yet, so that was a big mistake. Let's call this helmet. Bang, that's my cube. We're going to find our helmet, and we're going to drag that with a middle mouse button and drop it into control helmet, just like that. Bang, it's now in control helmet. You can see the hierarchy there. I'm going to take control helmet, I'm going to drop it into helmet god, just like that. Okay, perfect. So now everything is grouped under this one little section right here. The last thing I'm going to do is I am going to group this one last time, and I'm going to say, with the helmet god selected, I'm going to say edit, and I'm going to say group, and I'm going to call this thing here, I'm going to rename it, I'm going to call this thing here group underscore helmet, just like that. And now let me show you why. This is going to make it easy to use later on. So with group underscore helmet in place, I'm going to move it out of the way for now. I'm going to put Steve back to 0. Bang. And I'm going to select my group helmet like that. And I'm going to take this entire thing and I'm going to turn on my snap tool. Actually, let me do this. Let me show you. Right now, whenever we turn Steve's head, bang, we can see it's turning from a joint down there. Shading. X-ray joints. We can see it's turning from a joint down here, from this joint here to this neck joint. If I turn it around like this, Steve's head moves from that point there. So that is cool. I actually want the helmet to be in exactly the same position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my group helmet, right there, this guy here. I'm going to turn on my snap to point, which is this, and I'm going to drag my helmet all the way until it's actually on top of that neck joint, just like that. That's where I want my group helmet to be, like that. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing, which is my God node, and I'm now going to turn off my snap to point, and I'm going to move it up. I'm going to turn off my wireframe so I can't see it, and I'm move my helmet to exactly where I want it. Let's say I like the helmet. Let's say I like the helmet right there. Okay. No, that's too low. Because look at the top of his head sticking out. That looks silly. Right there. Let's say I like the helmet right there. I'm going to select my God node again. I'm going to say modify, freeze transformation. So that's my new 0 point. Okay. My group helmet is located right here. It is a difference that I'm interested in. I don't really care where this is located. I just want this to be in the right location compared to this. So let's put this thing here, right back. Is this the right spot? Let me see. Shading. Let me turn off my polygons for now. I just want to make sure it's in the right place. Polygons. Yep. Okay, I just want to check that out. Perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually now zero this out, turn my polygons back on, show polygons, bang, and I'm going to zero this out. So whenever I bring this new helmet in, bang, it's going to end up right at the center whenever I bring it in. Now, here's the kind of fun thing about it. Now what I'm going to do whenever I want to add this helmet to my character, if I want it to go to the right spot and I want to stick, I'm going to actually go in and I'm going to say, turn off my things for now, show polygons, bang. I'm going to select this joint right here as my master. I'm going to select the group helmet as the slave, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go to animation. I'm going to say constrain point, constrain orient. And as soon as I do so, as soon as I've got those constraints in place, the helmet, if I turn on my polygons, is in exactly the right location. And when I move Steve's head around like this, the helmet follows exactly. Okay, everybody, so that is exactly how you put the helmet in place. That's how you build a helmet. That's how you build goggles or anything else you want to build. Okay, so that's the end of the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys use it to make your characters to finish it off properly. If you liked it, let me know in the comments with a happy comment. If you really enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, make sure you take a few minutes and subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.